Banana Zone. I'm Hunter Davenport.
I'm Connor McGraw.
I'm Erik Fedorchak.
And I'm Arlen Haro.
Those are not our real names. Because apparently you people can't figure out which one is which, and I'm sorry, just because we're all white doesn't make me sound the fucking same.
And guess
Well,
what?
I'm actually Connor. I'm the loud one.
I'm not divulging who I am.
I'm Arlen. I sound like a deflating balloon.
I'm Erik. I'm the one who does all the really bad impressions of wrestlers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I do
So-
a killer Alex Jones.
Okay.
So by default,
Seriously though, if you hear like a 14-year-old on this podcast, it's me.
yeah.
Yeah, if you sound if you hear the sound of aging death, that would be me talking.
Yeah.
And if it's the sound of me being loud, then, well, yeah.
Who's ever talking the most is usually Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It's like, what did Leonard say? He's like, the only one I can tell apart is Connor because he's the loudest and most animated and talks most. I was like, yeah, there's a point to all this.
Yep.
It's so you know who I am.
Well, and I mean, I could go into my radio voice that I learned how to do somewhat when I was on stage
Yeah,
when I was in
apparently.
college. But
Actually, when I worked at a fast food restaurant, someone told me I had a voice for a radio.
yeah, I heard the same thing, except I heard I had a face for radio, and it made me cry.
What?
Damn.
You've never heard that insult?
No.
Oh God, yeah. No, I've never actually had anybody say it to me, but yeah, it's one I heard before, which is like, yeah, you have a real face for radio.
That's
Yeah.
damn, huh?
My favorite radio voice to do, however, is a terrible FM radio DJ.
Oh, yeah.
98.7, I'm Roddy the Rat. Welcome to the Rat.
Right.
It's Skis and the Gator in the mornings here on 92.6488.
My favorite is it was on the RBR wrestling show, and he's like, someone was like, he's like, FM radio shows are the fucking worst. It's like, hi, I'm Cedric the Celery Slicer, and welcome to.
You know, you gotta use alliteration. People get
No, you don't,
confused.
because we don't need FM radio. It's fucking kill it. Replace it with talk shows that don't include those people. FM radio is the worst.
There's a local
we're a bunch of 45-year-old
radio.
men gonna get their cigarette money.
Right.
There's a local radio show in New Hampshire called Free Beer and Hot Wings.
Oh, I know
Oh,
exactly
God.
what that is.
Yeah,
Because we had it in New Jersey, too.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
That
not
sounds terrible.
We also
It's
had
not.
the Jersey guy. The Jersey guys were actually the Jersey guys were on FM radio, but it was strictly talk radio. I think Monday through Friday, and then the weekends they played music.
That seems kind of backwards.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
So all of yours are much cooler. We just have a guy whose name is Bob. That's his whole thing. That's his whole...
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Is Bob the dude from Fallout 4 who is really unconfident about saying the news? That is my favorite part of Fallout 4. It's this guy who does what is it? It's
His name is Travis.
it's Commonwealth Radio, and he's like, he gets on, he's like, okay. There was
Connor's
There
mic got
was,
lost in his mouth for a second there.
there was a raider attack today, and some people might have been hurt. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's his whole
Yeah.
shtick.
Yeah, well, don't you end up doing a mission and giving him confidence at one point? I can't remember.
Yes, you
It's
do,
been
and
a
then he
while.
changed his
Yeah.
entire show, I think.
Oh,
Which
no,
is
this is
kinda
turning
cool
into
if you think about it.
VGH.
Yeah. And then in Fallout 3,
Oh.
you can meet Three Dog, and you can kill him, and then Galaxy News Radio ceases to be.
I didn't know that. That's
You
great.
can kill him, and this station just stops. I think it's just like, I think a message just played like Three Dog is dead.
Rito!
If you're that kind of player, you're just like, you tune in every now and then to hear a reminder of your work.
Yeah, exactly. I've left a mark, an indelible burn onto
Yeah,
this
it's
world.
the only way. It's the only way I can actually feel evil in those games, because Fallout 3 and 4 don't let me actually be evil, because whilst I'll shoot up an entire village, then the game's narrative tells me I'm such a good dad or something.
What a great dad.
What a great thing. He's like, well, son, I'm very proud of you in Fallout 3. And it's like, I just murdered 2 whole cities. Like, please acknowledge me.
Witness.
So,
Anyways, so this is
yeah.
a CW show podcast.
well,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there
Comics
wasn't
on
much
TV,
CW
as it's called on YouTube.
There wasn't much CW this week.
No.
No.
Everything took
No,
an
I-
unexpected.
I totally went in, expecting Arrow to be on, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's not back until March.
I was
Okay.
kind of disappointed Arrow wasn't on, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too, especially since the synopsis for next week's episode has Roy Harper coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Also, Ricardo Cruz all of a sudden becoming like this amazing character.
Seriously.
So is Roy Harper coming back and he's going to have a dead cat he's carrying around?
Yes.
Maybe, possibly.
He's going to use it as a weapon.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that's the case. He has a bionic arm for some reason.
And in the case of other shows he's been on, such as Teen Wolf, he will suddenly be gay, as he is in real life. So that's a thing that we're gonna have to deal with.
He's coming back. I'm a Flash. Jesse Quick is coming back. Yay!
Yeah,
She's going to be gone by next week.
Jesus.
Sorry, it's going to happen.
She's coming back in costume, so I'm sure she could do something important.
Yeah, she's going to end up bringing Ralph back into the future.
She has a little new husky puppy, and it's adorable.
Yeah, she does. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
All these people, by the way, are fucking fantastic to follow on Instagram, especially Grant Gustin in between his mustache phases.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He
no.
becomes a different person.
He really does. It's great.
And Tom Cavanaugh is really fun to follow on Instagram too.
Yeah.
And Matt Letcher, because Matt Letcher gets really sad sometimes about not being Reverse Flash. And I think someday he actually put up a video on his Twitter of him, unsolicited, explaining the Reverse Flash timeline from season 1 of Flash through Legends of Tomorrow season 2.
Oh, wow.
How did he do that?
He's like, I'm the best I can, but here's how I understand it. And does it like with like line and paper and all kinds of like pen and paper and all kinds of stuff like that. He explains time remnants badly, but he tries. Because nobody can explain time remnants.
Yeah, I've tried many times. I just can't.
I don't understand it. It's they're like it's a temporal duplicate. I'm like, okay, but what does that mean?
Explain yourself.
As
It's a
far as I
temporal
know,
duplicate of time?
No, okay.
Time remnants, as far as we understand it, is how the Reverse Flash can continuously come back in the show, because basically, as long as he is somewhere running around in the Speed Force, or any speedster for that matter, if you pluck them from a moment in time where he's in the Speed Force, you've now created a time remnant.
Yes.
It's an anomaly, basically.
Yes, and if you go back in time and you tell yourself to act one way and you stay there, they become a time
it's a completely
remnant.
different. Yeah, well, it would also complete a divergent timeline,
Yes.
and
Yeah. They're
and
from
potentially the one that
timeline.
you're from would be destroyed.
Yeah.
Exactly. The problem is, last season of Flash, they really they made time remnants more complicated. So.
Thanks, Kreisberg. Thanks for that.
Thanks for Sam and Bar.
Hey, just because he's out of the show now doesn't mean we just blame it all on him.
Actually, we can, because what he did was awful. So
I know, but you can't.
Yes, I can.
I'm also getting ready to shoot the ice underneath him after we send him out in that fucking frozen lake.
Well, no, I'm
That's
totally
like
into that.
Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. Treat him like my friend who dressed up as Spawn as a kid.
no.
I'm convinced that that's the same dude who went on Facebook and said that Spawn is one of the most influential and successful, mainstream successful
He
black
might
superhero.
know him, possibly. They might know each other.
Spawn? He knows Spawn?
No, okay, so this kid...
When the weird thing is, like, Spawn's skin color is not what it's like, I don't want to use this term of phrasing, but, like, he becomes a pizza after his human form. It doesn't matter.
His skin's gone. Like, his skin's gone. I hate to break it to you.
I mean, for the longest time, he had a shoestring tying his face together before all the skin on it came off. Like when he finally
like,
gave up on his
I
humanity.
don't think Spawn ever spends time dwelling on like black culture.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really.
And Todd McFarlane said many times he didn't take it into account when he was writing the character. He just wrote the character like he would write any character. So there's
Which is like,
yeah,
you know, it's just like, you know, he's not. All right, if you think Spawn is cooler than Black Panther, first of all, fuck you.
Fuck you.
yeah.
Fuck you.
Also, if you think Spawn is a more like culturally relevant black superhero than Black Panther, also fuck you.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Again, like so like the thing of like, oh, I knew kids that dressed up as Spawn. Again, no, you didn't. I'm the only person that knows a kid that dressed up as Spawn.
I don't know a single person who dressed up as Spawn.
And
First of all,
and I will explain this kid to you, so you know the kind of kid that would dress up as Spawn. Okay, and this isn't a slight, but he was way into wrestling, but also MMA at the time, and this is like 1998, 99.
Oh man, that's when MMA was like fucking It was like two barbarians.
Yeah.
Wasn't that when like a ninja would take on like a sumo wrestler?
Right. It was basically softcore porn at the
It
time.
was like gis were allowed and weight classes didn't exist, and they had like they had one night tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
And this kid was 7. Like, yeah, 7. And he went.
I love that Mortal Kombat shit.
He went out on Halloween as Spawn, and they wouldn't let him wear the chains to school, I guess, because they thought that they would be a weapon. But this kid was crazy.
Yeah, no shit.
Like he would
Right,
he would like body slam his punching bag. He had a punching bag at 7. Also,
he's a serial killer now. That's just what happened to him.
Definitely, he had biceps. He was 7.
My question is, what's wrong with his parents that they're letting a 7-year-old A, get totally into Spawn that much, and B, watch MMA?
So I'll give you one
that
answer.
Appropriate for a 7-year-old.
So I was watching Power Rangers when I was in grade school, okay? Because my mom thought it was too violent, even though she had never laid eyes on a single episode. Mom, I hope you're listening.
I'll tell you his father's name, and all of this will click. His father's name was Jason. That's all you need to know.
You know, actually, funny Halloween story relating to that. I the first year I decided to build a Jason costume from scratch. I approached. I've made it 3 times, and it looked awesome. I approached the vice principal because they were like, no mask whatsoever, no kind of facial covering. I was like, does a hockey mask really count as a full, like, it's me? And he's like, well, yeah, it's a mask. What you can do is you can paint a hockey mask on your, and I stopped listening.
God damn it.
So you'd look like a brain damaged Pippi Longstockings if you did that.
I just really like the idea of like this principal having like doesn't have object permanence. So as soon as you put the mask
on, Connor, where are you? Who is this boy? With this?
Have you guys? Before we get into the shows, have you guys seen the Batman vs Superman sketch from Pete Holmes?
Yeah.
Oh my god! When it's fucking Gordon puts his glasses on and off, and Batman loses him. He doesn't know where he is.
It's so good.
Gordon takes his glasses and goes, "Who are you? Where's the commissioner?" And he puts it back on and goes, "Oh my god, Commissioner, you're here. There was a strange man here."
Good.
That's my favorite fucking comedy sketch. That's better. That 6-minute sketch is better than all of BDS.
Wow.
Boy.
My people's symbol for hope. Hopes doesn't start with an S, stupid.
That's not even BBS. God fucking damn it. Yeah.
Hyperbole.
Wait,
so what part is hyperbole? That a 6-minute comedy sketch isn't better than all BVS? That's not hyperbole. That's a fucking fact.
I will agree to disagree with you.
Whatever. I mean, you're wrong, but okay.
Okay.
Listen to your elders. So anyways, do we want to get on to Legends then?
Yes, because this episode was
it's the horniest episode of television I've ever seen.
Damn it, I was just about to saying let's get on to Legends is rather apropos for what happened in this episode.
That's good. Everybody, Sarah Lance has a magical vagina, is what I'm convinced.
She's like,
Sarah Lance can make anybody just want to fuck her in 2 seconds.
Here's the thing about Sarah Lance. I'm convinced she's the most good-looking person on this planet.
Possibly.
Like I just I look at her, I'm just like, what the fuck? How are you real?
I follow her on Instagram and she's hilarious. But she flirts with Ava.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty great.
Ava, she's kind of Snart, even though Snart's gay. She flirts with Constantine successfully. She flirts with somebody else. Constantine flirts with Snart.
Constantine's the only person in this episode nearly as horny as she is.
Yeah, it works. It just works really well.
Mick fucking killed me this week.
He was so good.
He started off with what is he? I can't remember what the context was, but he's talking about Snart and says his girlfriend is a guy.
Yep.
His girlfriend is a guy.
I forgot how much I missed Mick until he came back on the screen.
I forgot how much I like this. I missed this show.
Dominic Purcell is like, I don't want to say he's my favorite part of this little universe they have. Like he's funny and just like when he's genuine, like it works. It's awesome. Like I love that character.
His moment
He's an
where he
accidental
actually
superhero.
becomes a team leader for 2 minutes because he just wants to watch football and he wants everybody to leave him alone.
Yep.
Yeah, you can be captain.
Go away. And I think I'm still not sure if I like Zari or not.
She warmed up this episode, I thought, quite a
little bit, but I still
Yeah.
get the idea, both the actress and the character, like you don't want to fucking be there.
Yeah, but I'm getting the sense that they're starting to give her something to do, which is take over the tech person role that is, well, it's not empty, but the Stein role, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, and because it was so well established that she's a techie, like I
It wasn't.
I don't know.
That's a problem with the show, I would say, is that they really didn't do much to set this up.
Not at all.
They kind of made her out to be like a MacGyver type, but that doesn't mean that she's going to be a techie.
I'm also going to come out and say it right now. I'm kind of over the Nate Amaya bickering.
It's kind of running its course.
Especially because it seems like Amaya is doing things to deliberately cause problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I noticed that too. Like she just like it just seems to me that like she just goes out of her way to be like a bitch sometimes.
Especially
like,
this season,
for lack of a better word. Yeah.
Like,
Well, I don't agree with her with how she left Nate in the first place. Like you didn't have the decency to be like, look, this has been amazing, but I have to go.
yeah.
He went out to get you fucking donuts and you just dipped on him.
Yeah, kind of. She's
Kind of
not
a dick move.
not great.
And then and then he comes back. He's like, you just left. She's like, yeah, I did. Bye.
I'll do it again.
I'll do it again right now.
Well, and this episode, they went back to hinting about how the talismans have some sort of greater issue going on through the whole series.
I think Arlen called this like last year.
Possibly.
Because I'm pretty sure, because once they said the 6, I was like, I've heard this before. Because you said it has to do with the red, doesn't it?
Maybe. This sounds like it's something else, though, but I could see it. I could see that being part of it. It's definitely something to do with like the power of the talismans coming together. That seems to be the idea.
Isn't Vixen's power like tied to the red in the comics?
I believe it is.
Kind of, yeah. She's kind of on the same level as Animal Man.
She's not a what's it called? Avatar, though.
Yeah.
She just connects to the red in the same way, kind of like how Beast Boy does, but different. So, but yeah.
Wait, Beast Boy is green, but connect.
That's why they made him
Yeah,
red in the New 52, and then changed it back.
What?
Yeah.
They changed his color.
Eric.
What?
I
They
can't believe you
changed-
found something Eric didn't know.
Yeah, they changed his color because that exact question. Because people were like, "Why is he green, but he's part of the red? I don't understand." So they.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly frank, the only thing in the New 52 that I paid attention to was Snyder's Batman.
I mean, that's fair.
Fair.
I'm actually because I missed out on a lot of the New 52. I still haven't finished Court of Owls. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, we're all gonna murder Connor on this
How
podcast.
have you not read that yet? Jesus Christ, Connor.
God.
You can read Holy Terror, but you can't read a legitimately
Look,
good...
okay, let's get this out of the way first. I didn't finish Holy Terror, okay? I fucking quit on that book well before I was done.
Yes, but how much Crossed have you read?
Too much.
But you
My
put
point.
more effort into writing about how bad Holy Terror was than taking a minute to read even 3 pages of Court of Owls, which is all you need to read,
That's
and you'll be
not
hooked.
fucking true, because I've read at least half of Court of Owls. It's all on my computer. I just had to download CBR again.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I have it all. It's all there. I keep meaning to go read it at work. I also keep forgetting that the Wi-Fi at work is non-existent, and that I'm sitting there like, oh, I have to get CBR again. No internet. Fuck.
Well, it's something you could think about doing too. I don't know if you wanna go the old man route, but if you have a library near you, you could always check and see if they have.
I do someone for me that this. It's like because I walk everywhere. They're like, yeah, you could walk to it. I'm like, I walk everywhere, so that's not really saying much.
Yeah. But no, check if there is a library near you. Check and see if they do have trades, because that's how I keep up on stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
a
should
good idea.
probably.
That was the most dismissive okay I've ever heard.
I should probably put down Sinestro Wars then before I dive back into 2 different events at the same time.
Yeah, probably be a good idea.
Before Arlen murders you.
Yeah.
Stop reading Crossed because, well, actually, I have since stopped reading Crossed because I was reading the 100 issues of Crossed, and after a while, it was like, I kind of get it. It's like Twilight Zone. I follow a group of survivors, and then like they do well for a little while, and then something terrible happens, and everybody dies.
Yeah.
That's the whole crux of the series.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Actually,
about right.
One
like-
of them.
Reading The Road over and over again.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
You mean Suicide the movie or the book?
Well, no, because The Road has like 5 or 6 chapters that are just 3 words, which are like, or 4 words, like the boy and father waited,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like 5 or 6 chapters of the book. No lie.
Well,
And then there's
What?
they found a man with no legs and he was being eaten alive.
What a bunch of babies.
one of
Wow.
the stories of
What
Crossed
an uplifting tale.
one of the stories of Crossed had like the biggest fuck you Twilight Zone ending I've seen so far, but it's way worse. It's Crossed. It's you follow a biker and a hippie, and like they're both on these weird little personal missions, and like one of them is trying to obtain like this super powerful LSD he made so he can escape from reality, and the other one's trying to kill one of his former bikers who's now one of the Crossed. And along the way they find this Spanish woman who they kind of just draft along with them. She doesn't speak any English, but I think she was being held prisoner somewhere. Both of these people die, and like the last panel is her getting on the bike and riding away, and it's like both of them kind of die in the face of basically they go against their own laurels and basically get killed that way. The final page of the book is, and then the woman returned home and she was killed and murdered by her husband and disemboweled, and no lesson was learned.
What the fuck?
Jesus.
I'm
Wow.
like, this is no.
I was expecting you to say like aliens landed and said, humans were the monsters,
No,
the whole, and
final,
then somebody gets
the
hit with a
final
horse
page
cock.
is just a close-up of her fucking disemboweled torso with big text over it. I'm like, first of all, fuck you, because you didn't earn this ending at all.
It might have been better to have her take the acid and end up going into her own world and then accidentally kill the biker's enemy.
Well, I think the hippie is the one who takes the acid to deal with the fact that he's about to be killed by the cross.
Oh, okay, okay.
But the biker and the hippie hate each other, and what the biker ends up doing is actually protecting the hippie as his last moment of like, it's his last thing he does is protect the hippie and gets killed over it. And then the hippie gets killed taking his own acid, and then the woman gets on the bike and leaves. I'm like, okay, she's fine. She'll go away. Oh, never mind.
So, anyways, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get away from this weird version of Easy Rider.
We got some Damien Dark stuff that wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got the origin of his daughter or whatever, which was kind of cool, I guess.
You still don't know what the fuck Alice is.
Why didn't he stand in the river and scream? Every time I see him on screen, I just want him to see him in that screen. That shot from Ravenous.
Now, was the actress playing his daughter wearing a wig?
I think
During
she
that whole-
I
was,
had to think so.
because I've seen her in other things. I know I have, and she's like blonde. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely a
I
wig.
just- it's just her hair looked
that's
off.
a wig. And part of me is like, well, she's in an asylum, so I imagine her hair wouldn't look that great. But even then, that's a fucking wig.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it made her head look like 4 times bigger than it probably is. So I was just wasn't sure. I thought maybe she had a giant brain underneath there or something.
Yeah, I think the wig stuck out because like it's supposed to be modern day also.
Yeah.
And that wig, that hairstyle, I don't know what that was. I mean, I assume you don't really get haircuts in an asylum very much, but still, like, I don't know, that didn't look right. So yeah, you're right about the head thing though, definitely.
Yeah, whatever. That's really neither here nor there, though, because the episode as a whole was quite good.
Yeah.
I was really pleasantly surprised. Like, that was something I'd said a few episodes ago, just saying, like, Legends better come back real strong after how bad Supergirl and Flash have been, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Oh, fuck, I lost my third train of thought. Oh, Constantine. This is my first real brush with Constantine because I didn't watch the show. I watched maybe a few minutes of the episode and was kind of like, I think I have something else to do. I'll come back to this. I never did.
Yeah, I think I watched like 2 episodes, and I watched his Arrow appearance.
I did love the consistent gag of him trying to light a cigarette and there being no light available.
Mm-hmm. That was good. That was real good.
That and his like, well, time to blend in. Pulls out a cigarette.
Fantastic. Yeah, I tried 10 minutes of his show, and it's so far removed from Hellblazer.
On the same network that has Supernatural, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried.
They also just didn't get the outright meanness that Hellblazer has. Like,
yeah.
John Constantine is not a lovable rogue. Like, he is a bastard 9 times out of 10.
I think I brought this up on the After Dark, because like Constantine is like this dude who's like really crafty, and he outwits people. Like, he doesn't just like
Yeah.
And
He
I don't
doesn't
really-
use magic as much.
yeah.
He's an asshole and even to the characters that he likes, he's an asshole. Like
Yeah.
Zatanna, a character who you could argue that he's in love with, he's a total asshole to her. Like, just up and down all the time. So he's not like a likable guy. And I think the show was on NBC, which is why it felt so watered down.
Oh God.
Okay.
And
That would explain it.
Oh wait, I thought it was on CW. Never
no, it
mind.
was never on. If it was on CW, it would be in like season 4 by now. Like,
Yeah.
most
He would
likely.
have had multiple guest appearances, and yeah.
Although I actually do like him better in this role, where he has the ability to just kind of pop up and down.
Yeah.
Well, no, I thought this episode, like, what I saw of him, like, he actually felt a little bit more like the Constantine I know from Hellblazer. I mean, he used magic quite a bit more, like Hunter pointed out, like, he's more of a trickster and a con man than he is actually using magic on a regular basis.
Yeah.
In the comics.
Yeah,
at
like the coin flip thing I thought was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because he
Yeah,
does this
no,
big
that
old,
was
like,
great.
he's like grandstanding. He's like, you should watch this coin. Bing, gone.
So good.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like that he's kind of had this relationship with Sarah because he's the one who brought her back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. So what they're doing with Malice right now is weird because they're really narrowing down the number of things that he could be. And
I don't think he's Reverse Flash. I don't think he's
Yeah.
Thawne anymore.
Yeah, same.
I don't know what he could be.
He's
at
I
this
think
point.
Nick is
devil?
right. He's a vampire.
he's just a vampire.
He's a vampire.
But
He's-
I think he has
gotta
to be the
kill a
devil,
vampire.
right? Like, that's the only
At
thing that
this
makes
point-
sense.
What if he's
Yeah.
Trigon?
Ooh, that could be kind of cool.
Oh,
Because like the idea that he could be like a demon kind of makes sense with what DC like magic is, kind of maybe.
Yeah. No, I think Trigon would actually be a really cool idea.
I would say because Marvel magic is more like with Doctor Strange, where it's kind of there's a kind of scientific explanation for it. Is there not?
right. Well,
It's
in,
more-
It
in the
depends
movies
on who's
there
writing.
is more, and like
I would say
Eric
because if you go by that, or if you go by like Spider-Man One More Day logic, like the literal devil exists.
Mhm. Also, like, so the biggest problem I've always had with Marvel and their supernatural side is that they have like 5 versions of the devil. And
Yeah.
who have all claimed at various points to be the devil.
I would say because
Yeah.
isn't Mephisto supposed to be the devil?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's not because there's like 4 others.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's more
Yeah,
like
well-
Diablo, where there's several different. What is it? Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying DC's any better. They have multiple characters
No.
who have also claimed to be the devil, but it's not as many.
Oh, excuse me. Sit down. I'm the devil.
God, there was one character that was the devil for a while in the DC universe. He was a guy who ended up giving a bunch of B-list villains extra powers. I can't remember his fucking name. Blonde hair, like green, like shoulder pads.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember
sounds-
the name.
Is that the
Design.
super devil?
he was like the devil with the superhero outfit.
He fought the Secret Six, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I know Ralph Dinby ended up trapping him in Dr. Fate's like alternate dimension house for a while in 52, the run of the comics.
Hang on, I've got you. The devil, the highest authority in hell, ruling over the demon. There have been several rulers of hell over the years.
Yeah.
So we've got Lord Satanus, which is that's the most.
That's a name.
Yeah.
You've got Neron. It looks kind of what you're describing.
That's who I'm talking about. Neron.
Neron.
Azazel, Beelzebub, Lady Blaze.
She's also doing a job at the Kitten Caddy Club later. You can also find her at the Pink Pussy.
She'll be webcamming later on tonight also. She's on My Free Cams and Cam Soda. So
whoa,
yeah.
She gets around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely some issues, and I mean I understand like people want to invent new characters and say no, that wasn't the devil, this is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like the reason I say Trigun is because like Teen Titans is coming. Like
Well,
you know that.
so that's my main problem with it is I don't know if this is in the same universe as that show.
No,
Well,
I
and
don't
here's
think
the
it
thing:
is.
there is a Malice in the DC Wikiverse.
Yeah, but it's a completely different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a brilliant geneticist whose perfect life was shattered when his 7-year-old son Alex developed a rare, incurable neuromuscular disease.
What if it's him?
I mean, it could be him, but like, okay, you have to explain the fact that his Constantine's magic didn't work on him, so you have a lot to explain there. Like, he kind of swatted it away.
I think he's definitely magic. Whatever he is.
Yeah, he's some sort of entity, but he's definitely like more cosmic. He's like a
He's Thanos.
Like maybe.
How funny would it be if like the last shot is just Thanos appearing?
God damn it!
He's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Oh no!
Oh,
then
my.
a big like bold stamp comes across the screen that says just like show canceled.
Cease and desist.
Exactly.
Marvel has bought WB. And everyone's left scratching their heads as to how this could have possibly happened.
Well, somebody threw a sandwich at Kevin Feige, and then he got a.
Oh, that is a great reference.
It was a transdimensional sandwich. So
Yeah.
Someone threw a sandwich at Kevin Feige, and all of a sudden, like, Mickey Mouse caught wind of it. He's like, I'm buying everything. That's it. Every studio.
I'm gonna buy all you bitches. I'm gonna buy the government.
It's over. Ha ha. Minnie. Goofy, get the lawyers. Oh, yep.
Sora.
First of all, don't quote that game because I don't think the third one's real.
No, it's gonna happen.
It's not real.
It has happened.
Not
it's
real.
Happening. Connor, let me have this.
No.
Donald Trump
Even
takes
if it
his
does
head
come
off
out.
and he's goofy. He's been
Everyone's
goofy
like, I
all
think
along.
Joe Hansen keeps putting fucking footage of Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm like, this would be cool if it's a real game.
Oh. That's the thing. Even if the game does come out, I don't think I'm gonna know what's happening because
I won't know what's fucking happening because here's the other side of this episode.
Nobody plays those fucking games for the plot.
Well, okay, here's the plot aside. How many different versions of 2 you can release between 2 and 3? What are we at? 2.8 Dream Drop Alpha Fiery fucking EX plus Alpha 278.
Here's my favorite.
Mix.
Here's my favorite part about every Kingdom Hearts game is like seeing Goofy have to say names of Kingdom Hearts characters. Like, Sora, we have to defeat Sephiroth.
Also, I hope all these people who are ready for Kingdom Hearts 3 and they're like, yeah, cool, Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters. I'm like, I really hope you're ready for all those Final Fantasy characters to get replaced by Marvel characters. That's totally gonna happen.
It's not happening, actually.
Really?
It's not happening.
Oh, well, I'm glad Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't happening because I was right.
In other news, they're bringing back Disney Infinite. So.
Wait, what?
No, that's a joke.
Okay, good.
Anyways, CW.
Legends was, I mean, this is what happens when we love an episode. We go on tangents.
Yeah.
Legends came back really strong. Team's fucking great. Mick and Snart. Oh, that's actually something important to bring up. This was probably Wentworth Miller's actual send-off.
Yeah,
I'm kind of sad about it.
See that? I got pretty emotional for a second
Same.
because like he walked up and like usually Mick is very cold to emotional output, and he's like, "I'm leaving," and Mick doesn't say a word and just hugs him.
Yeah, like he's kind of speechless a little bit, and I love that they were able to do that moment, but also still have the football bit going.
Watching football. No, I'm not.
All right. Well, that was the thing I was a little bit conflicted by, because I mean, I only really know Snart from the Earth X crossover, and then the little bit he's been on Legends after that. But I felt like he deserved a little bit more than just all right, I'll see you. And that was it.
The thing is, like, this is an encore performance basically, because Snart dies in Legend Tomorrow Season 1, literally saving time and space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you guys have told me that.
Yeah, so, I mean, he got like a little bit of a run in Legends of Tomorrow Season 2.
Yeah.
Came back towards the end, and it's more Mick. Yeah. As a figment of Mick's imagination, which is probably one of the best performances Wentworth has done as Captain Cold, because he keeps showing up and he's like, Mick, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, this isn't you. You're not someone's lapdog. But then he got, basically a second encore in Season 3. So.
Yeah, good point.
It's a lot like if you came to Doctor Who during the 12th Doctor, and then River Song shows up, and you're like, I don't know who this is. Who dat? And then she dies.
New Doctor Who dis.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because I came in for David Tennant's run, and River Song shows up, and she does that speech, and I was like, did I miss something?
Mm-hmm.
When the reality is, I'm supposed to feel confused, because everyone's supposed to feel confused by her first appearance.
Yeah. Her last appearance, still confusing. So, you really needed to see the 11th Doctor's era. Yeah, this is a good episode.
And they address Stein and Jackson being gone very delicately. Because without thinking about it, Ray goes into talking about Professor Stein, like almost forgetting he's dead.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh.
I do like how at the end of the episode, Constantine pulls Adam to the side and is essentially like, yeah, keep hold of that gun. You're gonna need it. Especially these against Sarah. Wasn't he implying that?
Yeah, that's a good bit of foreshadowing also. And it's
cool
good
character
foreshadowing.
like Constantine. It's cool to see a character like Constantine look at someone who made something, look at the science side of things and be like, yeah, that's gonna be useful.
Yeah. That's another thing. He's not like a what's the word? He's not an absolutist about these things. He knows what will work in a given situation, and he hears anti-magic gun and he's not threatened by it. He's like, that's gonna be useful, because I know how these things work out.
When you first see his response to them talking about an anti-magic gun, at first when he pulled Ray off to the side, I was expecting him to be like, get rid of that thing, get rid of that. But no, it was a nice change to have him be like, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, it reminded me of a little bit of a down different route, but last season, Reverse Flash is on the God. This provides some physical comedy, and you have to check it out if you can. Last season, Reverse Flash is tearing apart the fucking Wave Rider. He's beating everyone's ass, and all of a sudden, he just keeps getting hit with his gun that just launches him through the fucking air violently into shelves and doors and walls. And finally he's like, okay, here's the thing with that gun. I fucking invented it, okay? He's like, I helped Rip Hunter make it, okay? Stop it.
Yeah, that was damn mentioning Rip Hunter. That was one of the things I really liked at the beginning of this episode to go back, was just when Nick was confused about who John Constantine was. He's like,
he thought it was Rip.
He's like, I don't know, we're just gonna coat.
That, and it was nice that they finally admitted what was going on with Sarah and what's her face.
They gussied her up for this little appearance, because they went from having her in fucking these really kind of 90s shoulder patty look to this kind of loose fitting clothes and hair all done and down to the side.
Well, they started doing that near the end of the mid-season. They started kind of hinting at that pretty heavily, and even when she went into the Viking world with them, they had her gussied up beforehand.
Yeah, this has been working out very naturally. I felt it in the first episode of the season. I was like, oh, those two they're gonna end up together, but they're treating it very naturally.
At this point, any woman that Sarah Lance looks in the eyes, I have to get suspicious of.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you just assume that she could have sex with anybody on screen.
She's put the fucking whammy on him.
Yeah.
I'm still getting over Alex Danvers because that shit was hysterical.
How does your butt feel?
Yeah, I mean, I heard it when you fell out of bed this morning.
Oh, that and her talking to John at the end of the episode, and they're both believing that it's innuendo, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, and thanks for the shag. That was pretty great." Like, just John is kind of like, "Whoa, okay."
So on that note, I do have one moment that was like, are you sure about that? Where he's like, you're going to need to drink my saliva. And I'm like, you really think she's that worried about that after the night that you just had?
Also, I have to say that the line, Snart almost getting lobotomized, and then they're like, this is when I was trying to seduce you. Bullshit. I was trying to seduce you, and Snart's like, I hope I was trying to seduce anybody. I was about to get lobotomized.
And also, again on that note, I didn't like not Nurse Ratched. She wasn't my favorite. Or at least the younger version. The older version, she was fine, you know. Canadian Day player. So yeah, that was the thing.
For time on ice pick lobotomy is brought up, I kind of cringe because that shit's horrifying.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Sadly accurate.
If you want to be unnerved, watch the Lore episode on Amazon about that.
Yes.
It's.
Well,
or listen to the audio version.
Yeah, I listened to the audio version first. That shit, for anybody who thinks it's not that we did this hundreds of years ago, we did this like 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that long ago.
We didn't I'm pretty sure one of the Kennedys was lobotomized.
Yeah, Rose Kennedy.
Yeah,
their grandmother, if I remember correctly.
She was rendered into a fucking just basically vegetable.
Well, and it was kind of done against her will too.
And she had autism or something like that.
It was done so she wouldn't be a public embarrassment. They turned her into basically a perpetual child until her death.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the Kennedys are not as great as people make them out to be.
Hi, welcome to this episode of Shadow Zone. I'm kind of regret. I think that wraps up Legends.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything that happened on Black Lightning this week, so I'll be a tourist for this one.
It was an episode.
Is the first? Is that why I don't remember anything? It's the first Black Lightning to just be like, that was the thing.
No, I don't think it was just a thing though. Like
I'm just messing around.
Like it established some Tobias Whale's backstory.
It
like
did.
And I mean, you see why he's such a monster because his father was such a monster, and he went and broke his spine. So you know that's
that's what he gets.
Yeah.
I mean, it establishes a black Illuminati clearly through the hints. So that's a thing that they're clearly going towards. The newspaper man stuff with what is it? Jefferson's father and his boss. That stuff is kind of interesting, but this is a lot of it's a lot of setup for the next few episodes. And I think this is one of those episodes where, when you watch it again with the context of what is coming, I think we will all think it's a much better episode. But because it is all this setup, it's kind of, it's not the easiest thing to watch.
Although I would like to point out that once again the CW doesn't quite understand how things work when people have certain powers. Like electricity doesn't let you fly like that. Well, that's not how electricity works.
No, that's his suit. So and I was very confused by that. So no, I think what it is that his electricity is powering engines in the suit. It's just that they only have enough money for one effect. So it looks like his lightning effect.
Yeah, because I was kind of confused by that. Like I'm willing to accept he can levitate people by using his electricity somehow.
Yeah.
But
no, I completely agree. Totally. It's just I think we're supposed to assume that this suit turns him into Iron Man, basically.
Yeah.
TV
kinda.
Iron Man, and instead of the what's it called, the chest. What's it called? Arc reactor.
The arc reactor. Yeah.
Instead of that,
he
has his powers. So. Yeah.
That was something else that I thought was interesting. They established in this episode, like every time he talks, and so he could modulate his voice so people didn't recognize it. I thought that was something the suit was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he's working out on the heavy bag and he gets the call from the cop telling him, like, oh, we found this guy, like, he then modulates his voice, which I thought was, I don't know, I thought that was a nice little touch because I totally was not expecting them to actually think that far ahead.
Yeah, and they did that with Barry too. I think it's the reason why Reverse Flash does it in season 1. It's because he's trying. I think it's also the reason why he's consistently vibrating to the point where you can't make out his face, so you can't see who he is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, it just makes it fucking spooky and awesome. So it's so cool. I do remember that Tobias goes and visits Gambit. Gambit.
Yeah, he does. That's right.
Mon ami.
And they mentioned this organization called ASA. I think that's what they're called.
ASA?
ASA Cure.
No, it's ASA.
ASA. I work for ASA.
But no, he mentions this acronym ASA. I've never heard that before in DC. Like, I knew Cadmus, and I knew what's it called?
Argus.
Yeah.
OMAC. All that.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I found out that the agents who took Caden James and Arrow were not FBI. They were Argus.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
they were. They were.
They are
That
fucking.
explains a whole lot.
They're pieces of shit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that explains quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen what happens to Argus in the future, so not the surprise.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode also Jefferson's daughter decides to get her own super suit, which
Where is?
Okay, so this was bothersome.
I thought I saw a picture of this before the show started.
No, so this
I don't
isn't
know.
the full suit. This is like it's like a Halloween costume that they were selling in a store. And the only part that looks like it's going to be part of her official costume is the wig.
Well, you can see the money they put into that.
Mm-hmm. But everything, it's like this weird skin tight, again, Halloween costume. Like,
And she's pulling, as you guys have told me about Arrow season 1. She's not wearing a mask. She just has paint over her face.
Yeah.
In the shape of a mask.
Here's the thing: that wig isn't staying because the costume that the promotional photos, she's got her hair in cornrows.
That's right. That is right.
Yeah.
So isn't her sister the one in a wig then? Maybe her sister gets the wig. I don't know.
No, her sister is the one who looks like she's made out of electricity, from what I've seen in the comics, at least.
Oh,
I'm just going off the photo that I barely remember. But yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, because Black Lightning's daughter was in the newer Outsiders that came, newer, Jesus Christ. It was out in, like, the early 2000s. And
tickling Arlen's Clonus.
What's that?
You start tickling Arlen's Clonus. I mentioned the Outsiders.
No.
Well, this was the run by Roy Harper, if I remember correctly. So it's a little bit different.
By the way.
But yeah, this episode of Black Lightning, like, it had its good moments, but it's the first one that I was definitely kind of like, okay, like,
it's a lot of setup.
Yeah.
And also, the character of Joey Toledo, when they mentioned his name, I didn't realize that's who that was. And I was like,
I had no idea. I was not expecting that.
I was like, that's the weirdest name ever. He doesn't look like a Joey Toledo. Also, I did like that fight scene. That was good, I guess.
Yeah, that was good. But I'm wondering what it means with his powers being problematic at the end of it.
Yeah.
He's the one who makes him get headaches, right?
Well,
or is that the other guy?
They fight to the point where he starts, like, freaking out because he's using too much of his powers. Because I guess Gamby found some sort of malfunction in the suit that I guess was draining too much of Jefferson's powers at once, I guess. Like, I think that's what that meant. I couldn't really put the fake science together. I mean, it's fake science, but it should at least make sense. To some
you would
degree.
think.
Yeah.
They should just say it's part of the Speed Force. That way you don't have to bother explaining it.
There you go.
But then there's so many other things that you have to explain. I don't know. It's not forgettable. It's just not It's not amazing. Wow, this is the shortest episode we've ever done if we stop now. There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, especially because confession, I just straight up didn't watch Supergirl this week because I didn't fucking care.
There wasn't a Supergirl.
There was no Supergirl this week.
There wasn't? I thought there was.
No, it's on break.
It's on break
No,
till April, until Black Lightning is over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of time to like figure out their shit.
And they're not going to.
Oh no, never.
No.
Because here's the thing: CW has never course corrected midway through a season, in my experience.
No, and we thought that this is where we bring this up a lot because it's the most. I think it's so far the biggest black eye of stuff we've covered. We thought Flash season 3 was going to course correct, and it got worse.
To be fair, they didn't have a break this big.
I mean,
ever.
It did course correct. It's the wrong direction.
It course corrected into a fucking iceberg.
Yeah.
Like this is a 2-month break, so they could like fire all the people currently working on the show, and then have a course correction. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't see it coming. I don't see it happening that way. At all.
No, I think this story limps its way to a finish.
Yeah.
And we just start over in season 4.
Unless they come back and they just like kill Porn Sauron immediately.
I like how we don't even call her Rain. We just call her Porn Sauron.
That's all I'm calling her. That's what she is.
That's her name.
Yeah, that's what she is.
Like they've done nothing to define her from that joke name that I came up with weeks ago. Nothing to make her more interesting than that.
I like. First of all, let's just like if we're gonna harp on her design, I'm just over people in capes and masks.
Yeah.
Like they've done nothing to make her look special. She just looks silly.
They gave her a suit again. I've said this many times. It looks worse than the Overgirl suit, which I don't understand. How you don't just reuse the Overgirl suit?
Yep.
None of us would have complained about that at all.
Oh, I've been like, hell yeah.
It's cool design. Change
Bring
the
that shit
symbol.
back. Boy.
Change it to that skull design, and it's a cool suit. And don't give her a fucking like fetish mask or whatever. Again,
okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with masks. Like, it works for Speedster because their suits have an explanation.
Right.
Especially because Barry's was technically like one of the first. Because if you're going by the lore that we know, Reverse Flash's suit is only designed the way it is because of Barry.
Right.
And Zoom's is because he wants to look fucking scary, and he's trying to hide his identity.
Yeah, and he spent a lot of time as both the hero and the villain on Earth 2.
He spent a lot of time dressing with Spawn as a kid.
Yeah,
exactly. With someone like Rain, it's like there's no reason to hide who you are, because there's no attempt you're making to live a double life, is there?
No, well, other than they want to have a really bad reveal later on in the season.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be an episode where everybody is surprised.
We know who she is.
We know who she
they
is.
don't, though.
But Supergirl somehow
Oh
doesn't.
God.
It's pretty obvious who she is. This is the equivalent of Clark putting on glasses.
This is worse somehow, though. This is so much worse.
Well, Clark putting on glasses has always been explained with you look at Clark Kent and you go, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Like, the suspicion arouses, but you eventually go, no.
Or
because even that's how they explain how Lex Luthor, the smartest man on Earth, looks at Clark Kent and that's impossible. It's inconceivable that he would be Superman.
Yeah. Or in the 80s reboot, they say that he's just vibrating so fast nobody can see him. So that's a thing.
But even that is kind of like I don't want to say it's lazy, but it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Put some effort into it.
Lazy.
It's lazy. Put some effort into it. Let's go.
Well, I think All-Star Superman did a really good job of explaining like how Clark and Superman are able to differentiate.
Is that where he's like
eyes.
He wears clothes that are like 3 times too big for him?
Yeah, it's the Grant Morrison, Frank Wheatley run that he did. It's DC's attempt to have like an ultimate line and realized it wasn't going to work because that's where All-Star Batman and Robin came from, where Batman with the famous line, "I'm the goddamn Batman."
Oh, that's where that fucking shit came from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Frank. It was Frank Miller and Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that where? That is also where he fucks Black Canary for no reason, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, after they beat up a bunch of guys, they
that's
fuck
after
on a pier.
After they murder a bunch of guys.
Well,
because
yeah.
correct.
No, the reason
blow
is
them
because
up.
he's Frank Miller and he can write that to the story.
Yeah, I believe there's also a point where Batman says something to Robin before he's become Robin, where he's in the Batmobile with him. He's like, "What are you, goddamn retard?"
Yeah, that's before I'm the goddamn Batman. He's like, "What are you, dense? What are you, retarded? I'm the goddamn Batman."
Yep.
Thanks, Frank Miller. What is with
Comics.
these companies who be like, we're going to launch this new line. Let's put the edgiest guy we have on staff.
First of all, there's not much to say about Supergirl at this point, so let's just fucking dive off into comic talk for a little while, I guess. I don't know how Frank Miller consistently gets work with major comic companies knowing how fucking insane he is.
Because of his run on Daredevil and because of Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's the Goyer problem. He has so much saved
Frank
up.
Miller.
Yeah, well, he's the comic book equivalent of Goyer, where he has so much saved prestige.
I don't see how anyone let him write Dark Knight 3 after Holy Terror.
Oh no, I agree. After a certain point, I think it became like, what are you doing? I think after...
Oh, you mean Dark Knight the Master Race? Don't call it Dark Knight 3.
Which is the most uncomfortable title. It's so uncomfortable, I never fucking read it.
Yeah. Like, I read the first issue.
I read it on Wikipedia.
And I was like,
Isn't
I'm
there-
good.
Isn't
I
there
also
like a picture?
I also saw one cover from Dark Knight 3, and it was a Wonder Woman, and her head
she looks like a monkey?
her head was fucking detached, and like sitting on her shoulder. I'm like, I'm good.
Oh
She
well,
looks-
there was a cover that Frank Miller did for, I think it was either Action Comics Superman, or I forget what it was exactly, but yeah, you can totally see Superman's package. Like you can see the bulge in his uniform. Yeah.
Frank Miller, what are you doing?
Drawing Superman dick.
I don't know. I don't get it.
His mind just wanders, I
Oh,
guess.
Jesus Christ. Literally the first image.
Yep.
So why does
Pretty
Superman
great.
look like that? What is happening to his face?
It looks like he ate a bunch of bees.
Okay,
It does.
God damn it.
that's one way to put it. Yeah.
It totally does. Like, it's the weird Frank Miller thing where he
And
just...
like right next to it is the picture of Superman from Dark Knight Returns from Corto Maltese, which, by the way, got referenced this week, didn't it?
Yeah, Corto Maltese. I was like, what was it? There was a very specific reference they were making, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah,
I can't remember what it was. But yeah, they dropped the Corto Maltese reference. I'm like, that is the reference that will never die. Like,
because it's an easy thing that, like, there's a certain generation that is like, Corto Maltese? Shit.
pops up in Tim Burton's Batman of all
Oh
It
places.
does.
no. Oh no.
They're like the genocide of
God.
Corto
Oh
Maltese.
no.
Because Burton, when he started working on that movie because of The Dark Knight Returns.
What's wrong with his eyes?
Oh man, I love finding shitty comic book art. As of recently, they got the artist back because I think he departed to do some stuff for Red Death for DC Metal. They got this fucking replacement artist for like the middle of the Ash run. It is some of the worst looking art I think I put a picture of that once. Barry Allen goes looking like this kind of pretty standard long dude. Look straight up. What's his nuts from It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh,
no.
Shoot. I know who you're talking about. Jimmy Stewart?
But it happens like in between panels.
Yeah, you did do that. You did show us this, and you were like, "What happened to Sing?"
Oh yeah.
Well, and how about that panel from Cable that made its way around where his elbow is growing out of his shoulder,
Also, he's grabbing the barrel of that gun.
and he's using a hairdryer to shoot somebody that's in a very weird perspective. Yeah.
Oh wait, that was
Yeah.
Cable. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah, you didn't see-
Deathstroke.
No,
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't see the
Cable,
metal
dude.
arm?
Well, no.
Yeah,
if,
dude.
you look at their suits from the side, it's the same costume. It's
I mean,
the same
kinda.
thing.
Yeah, it kind of is. Kind
Like,
of is.
and also, like, they both have gray hair. They both only have one real eye. It's not that far off. And they both came around in the same era ish, right?
Cable. Oh, Deathstroke's actually been around longer.
Well, he's
'Cause,
I know he's 1980,
Deathstroke's
but
been
like,
Cable's been around since the 90s.
okay,
Yeah,
so it's like off a little bit.
He showed up near the end of Teen Titans, or not Teen Titans, of New Mutants, because that was when Liefeld came on, and Liefeld helped create him.
Ooh.
Well,
Yeah.
What would you say is peak Deathstroke though? Because I know his first appearance is in a Batman.
Cable and Deadpool, maybe.
Well, no, Deathstroke. Honestly, I think his Teen Titans is where he's best known for, because everything after that has just kind of felt like they're running off of that particular storyline that like he's so evil.
I found it. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put two pages in the chat. I'm gonna put one from the Godspeed run, which has some of the fucking greatest looking flash art I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find this real quick. I've got the terrible one all lined up because it's horrendous. Oh, here we go. How many of us have actually, besides me, read the Godspeed run?
I have not.
Yeah, not at all. Just from what you said.
It is it's great despite its brevity.
I've started this thing where I don't really read single issues anymore. I just read trades because I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
All right, there's Godspeed.
I can't buy individual issues because I was spending like $60-$70 a week at the comic store years ago, and I don't need to go back down that route again.
No.
Yeah. My thing is, like, if I'm in when I'm visiting a new place, like when I go to Portland or I go to Olympia or something like that, I go to the local comic book store and then I get a single trade. And it's not necessarily because I want single trades. It's just like my sort of souvenir from that place.
You mean single issues?
Yeah. And now I'll buy a trade also, usually. I'll buy like a trade and then a single issue. And usually it's a single issue that isn't at my local store. So I go to California and I find like a Batman 9 from Snyder's Run. Because those are all gone where I am.
There's the Godspeed art in the Facebook chat, and this is the stuff from Flash 30 Bloodwork.
No. The fact that a preview didn't pop up makes me worried.
There's a few pages on this one link because Google removed the view image button because they're a bunch of pieces of shit.
Wow, fuck you, Google.
Yeah.
I'm just now seeing Superman art because my Chrome crashed.
Whoa.
Wow.
Why is he cross-eyed?
Yeah, I just got to that. Why is his mouth the size of his forehead? What is going on?
Dude.
Oh no.
That's like, it's like 3 issues long. And look how many different styles of Barry there are in between panels.
Yeah.
Oh, what is... He doesn't even look like the same person.
No, he doesn't.
No. I just... That one at the top panel on the second page.
And you see that...
Wow. Hey...
I'm uncomfortable.
Like that's
calling the
no with back with the whole like buying comics own individual and trades. Like my biggest issue is that I like to buy the hardcovers and most of the time oversized hardcovers, and you have to wait until like a year worth of them are out.
I'll admit, here's the thing: single issues. I can't afford single issues. There's no fucking way.
Yeah,
they're like $4.99 now, aren't they?
It's too much. It's too much.
Horrible, awful admission about single issues.
It's not a thing you should do ever.
I read them on the internet, okay? And then once there's a collection that I really want, I get it.
That's the way I did it.
I've got 2 hardcover copies of the Button, okay? Like
yeah, that's the thing though. That's the kind of thing you should get though.
One is sealed. The cellophane's still on it. Yeah. It's never coming off. I got that for Christmas from Dean because he didn't know I already bought it. But I own that. I own several other hardcover stuff. I own Flash Rebirth, the Jeff Johns graphic novel. I've got sealed X-Men comics. I got a whole bunch of stuff. But like right now, single issues, Jesus Christ, no way.
Like I have Manhattan Projects 5 through 7, I think, from a trip to Seattle. That's like stuff like that is what I get. I never stick
Dean's
with
now
a
reading
book like that.
Dean's got like Why the Last Man and like several what is the fucking the PP
Saga?
fucking the Hellboy bureau.
Oh,
ERD.
Yeah.
Got 4 volumes of that.
Fuck,
Yeah.
Plague
The,
of Frogs is so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. It's great. And those hardcovers are all out of print. They're hard to find.
Everything he's bought has been hardcover, or it's the trade paperback. Like he's got the Watchmen trade.
Yeah,
which
no,
is
that's-
like startling. So I'm like, all I did was let you read 1 or 2 things, and you're buying Watchmen. Like, what did I do?
Yeah,
But that's where my money goes to the comic industry, or I buy stuff selectively digitally, because no, I can't fucking afford to buy single issues. So yeah,
No.
I'm kind of extra legally keeping up for free
Yeah.
because it's too expensive.
Is
Too much. I wish I could spend all my money on comic books. Trust me.
Oh, the same.
That's why I use my library. That's
exactly.
the easiest way. Like I still feel a little hinky about doing things extra legally. That, and I just don't like reading books online. Like I'm just not a big fan of that.
Here's the thing. There's ways I have to do it where it's actually very convenient. Especially with I think it was the comic book reader app I had for stuff I had on my computer. If you click panel, actually you click panel, you just click, and what it does, it zooms in on the next panel.
Yeah. Oh, so like most the DC app, Comixology. That's something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got it. I can't remember what I had on my phone too, but it was like Action Reader. It did the same thing. You click a panel and it zooms in the panel, and it frames the panel. It frames on your phone depending on how the panel's laid out. So if it's a big horizontal thing, it does kind of a widescreen thing. But if it's a long panel, it does kind of a long shot thing where it zooms in lengthwise.
Oh,
really
I,
cool.
I actually will admit I have used a Hoopla. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
It's a good app.
Yeah, it is. And if your library system has comics in it, you can find DC, Marvel, Image stuff on there. And
Yeah,
I read
because there's a library near me.
Mhm.
Near me, I'm gonna start using it more because someone did tell me that the library near us has manga and comic books. So
and if it's anything like the one I have, then you'll probably have Blu-rays, and sometimes they even have video games.
Movies too.
So, yeah.
Because I was told that they have the Disaster Artist already.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
Wow.
Nice.
And Shape of Water they said is coming, because I guess its theatrical run was a fucking turd.
It's still in my theaters. I don't know.
God damn it.
Dude, it didn't even come out here.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nuts.
It came out-
You're in Vegas.
It came out. I'm in Las Vegas. You can't go 15 feet without running to a fucking movie theater, and it came out in one theater.
Wow.
One.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
Almost every casino has a movie theater attached to it, I think.
Yeah.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah.
Such a bummer. God damn it. Guillermo will never catch a break.
Dude, that guy can't fucking get a video game launched for his life.
Ugh. I don't even
Fucking
want to talk
rip.
about it.
Yeah. If we mention Silent Hills, I might snap on this podcast.
Well, I was gonna mention us Insanity first, so
Yeah.
Ooh.
that was the first attempt, and then PT happened afterwards.
THQ. RIP. Well,
Oh.
I guess, do we want to wrap, guys?
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Brief episode.
Yeah. We'll keep it light, boys.
Yeah. I'm Erik Fedorchek, and you can check me out at Movie Dumpster.
Yeah.
I'm not. So please don't confuse me with him for Movie Dumpster because you'll not find the show. Death Note is out, and we hated it. God, we hated it. So we hated it so fucking much.
Yeah.
Actually, anybody who listened to the episode so far can confirm that we hated it all.
It's a good episode. But,
You mean modern day Godzilla? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That was I didn't remember Joe made that reference, and I listened back to it. I was like, wow, that's so fucking spot on.
yeah.
It's spot on. Like, I wonder how, like, that. Never mind. That's a discussion for Wordpress. Never mind. We gotta wrap this. I'm Arlen Haro. You can find me Stroke Out Millionaire. You can follow me on my game collecting account at Mode
This
7.
is gonna get the angriest post in the group. Fuck you guys. We're being sincere. Which one of you use which?
Are you Connor or Hunter?
I'm Hunter Davenport.
Throw for a loop. Say you're Alan.
God damn it. Well, oh my. Yeah, spacecolombo.tumblr. AA Haro. Y'all know me. Lost Haro podcast. I think the next episode we're releasing as our top 10 or our Coen Brothers episode. I can't actually remember. So go listen to that.
Wow.
I
listen to Coen Brothers.
Zone. I was like, this is news to me. When do we record this?
We record these like way ahead of time, so.
No,
Yeah.
I thought you meant even our next Phantom Zone episode was top 10.
No,
So I was like,
no.
was I for this?
No, this is me and Eric's very cineast.
Different
Sayor, future guest of our Black Panther episode. Our very we're cinema snobs top 10 episode that we recorded. So wait for
Okay
that.
then. If you can't be true cinema snobs though unless you think Marvel films are trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. And
Yeah.
DC films
Kino.
are just underappreciated classics.
Kino.
God, Kino.
I used that phrase used more times in the last week than I care to fucking remember.
No.
Y'all don't know about Kino?
Since I don't remember who I'm supposed to be, I'm the real
That's-
Erik Fedorchak.
Connor McGraw. What?
God damn it. Anyways, you can find me at Erik_Fedor on Instagram. I'm floating around the Phantom Zone. I'll probably tell you what's good to read and what's not good to read. Especially read Warren. What's that?
That's Chris Smith. He's back.
Yeah, Chris Smith.
Welcome
back, Chris.
I'd also like to introduce everyone to my ASMR podcast. We're going to start doing at the end of the episode. Here we can have the light sound of the breeze. If you'd like to just listen to me breathe a little bit. That would be,
I'm gonna bite this very gentle animal into my room real quick and hear him talk. Hey, have it. Come here.
I'd also like to introduce our friend Sean Connery, who'd like to
Guys,
talk about.
I just wish Hunter Davenport would stop sexually harassing me in the mod chat. I'm so upset about it.
Oh my god, allegations. Time to go.
See everybody.
Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
I can't remember the punchline, but mother's a whore.
You see, Barbara, sometimes when they're pushing the issue, you just have to slap them a little bit.
No, I don't regret it.
Oh no!
Losers do their winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
I beat women.
If you keep on going on about it, Barbara, I'm going to beat you half to death.
Oh boy.
Terrible.
Apocalypse.
Bye.